Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's nightly news. On to the headlines. Deepen in strategic cooperation in AI between Algeria and Slovenia, the heart of the visit of the head of state Abdelmajid Tebboune to the country. Army General Said Chingri stresses that combat readiness and continuous training are the main keys to taming the weapons, while chairing the proceedings of the 18th session of the Guiding Council of the Higher War School. 5 people lose their lives, hundreds wounded, and dozens rescued as a result of the floods caused by torrential rains that fell since yesterday on many regions. And France is in turmoil. Neo-Nazi marches ignite political outrage as the interior minister faces backlash for inaction and is accused of complicity. Welcome back. First up, the state visit of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, to the Republic of Slovenia. The invitation of his counterpart, Nataša Pirc-Mosar, came to an end yesterday. Before coming back to the homeland, the President of the Republic visited the world-renowned zoo of Bled, where he was welcomed by the President of the National People's Assembly of the Republic of Slovenia, Marko Lotrič. After being informed on several aspects of the historical castle, the President of the Republic took part in a working lunch along with a delegation accompanying him and the Slovenian President Nataša Pirc-Mosar. Algeria and Slovenia share promising prospects for fruitful cooperation and a strong foundation for strategic partnership. President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune's state visit to Slovenia reaffirmed Algeria's commitment to expanding bilateral ties, particularly in artificial intelligence and advanced technology. Our special envoy, Fatima Adib's story, taken up by Midi Salila Balaman.
Artificial intelligence and advanced technologies were at the heart of research and exploration of partnership opportunities between Algeria and Slovenia, a country known for its leadership and mastery of the latest and most advanced technologies in the field of artificial intelligence. Here, at the Center for Prototypes in Artificial Intelligence in the capital Ljubljana, Slovenia's strength stands out. This center opened its doors for the first time to a foreign head of state, reflecting Slovenia's strong will to take bilateral cooperation to its fullest extent. The President of the Republic was introduced to the latest advancements Slovenia has achieved in robotics and the use of precision information technologies.
This model is another advanced system, a robot capable of dismantling objects and electronic devices. It can be used in recycling and waste processing. This robot participated in a European competition and won first place as the best robot at the European level.
Projects and research demonstrated the center's exceptional capabilities in precision control and technological development.
We are in a lab that develops systems simulating human bodies. These smart gloves can detect any danger to the hands and also determine the type of movement, whether related to workers or military personnel.
The President followed the explanations with great interest, matching the attention he gives to the field of artificial intelligence, especially after establishing the first ever higher school of artificial intelligence in Algeria's history. He is keen for his visits abroad to include stops linked to his ambitious projects of transforming Algeria into a country that prioritizes artificial intelligence and bets on the vibrant energy of its youth, passionate about precision technologies and AI. This step aligns with the shared desire to enhance cooperation between Algeria and Slovenia in a world where developments in artificial intelligence are accelerating rapidly.
In line with the presidential decree of September 26, 2005, establishing the Higher School of War, Army General Said Chingri, Minister Delegate to the National Defense Minister, Chief of Staff of the PNA, chaired the 18th session of the school's Guidance Council this Thursday in the 1st Military Region. Manal Maafa with the full story.
Following the welcoming ceremony, the Army General Said Shingriha, joined by the commander of the 1st Military Region and the director of the Higher School of War, paid tribute to the late President Ali Kafi, whose name is borne by the school. He then laid a wreath of flowers at the commemorative stele and recited Al-Fatiha, or the opening chapter of the Holy Quran, in his memory. The Army General Said Shingriha then chaired the meeting of the school's Guidance Council, where he delivered a keynote address. He emphasized the High Command's commitment to combat readiness through intensified training exercises based on realistic scenarios, aiming to strengthen the troops' ability to respond swiftly to evolving threats and emerging situations.
لطالما اعتبرنا أن التحضير القتالي والتدريب المستمر.
On this occasion, the Army General Said Shingriha stated that readiness and continuous training of military personnel is considered essential to mastering weapons and defense systems and ensuring their optimal use. A soldier equipped with the most advanced technology but lacking practical experience may struggle to meet the challenges on the ground.
على استخدام إمكانياتهم بكفاءة ودقة.
The Army General also stressed the importance he places on the Higher School of War as a key institution in preparing forces through the development of new theoretical approaches and innovative practical strategies aimed at continuously adapting to evolving challenges.
وفي هذا الإطار نعول كثيرا.
In this context, the Higher School of War is strongly relied upon to contribute to the preparation of forces through the development of new theoretical approaches and the design of innovative practical strategies. These are intended to enable continuous adaptation to evolving conditions so that an effective response to current and future challenges can be ensured.
المواجهة الفاعلة
And to preserve the country's status as a regional power, constantly prepared to confront any threat to its sovereignty, stability, and vital interests.
محدق بسيادتها واستقرارها ومصالحها الحيوية.
Army General Said Shingriha then attended a comprehensive briefing by the director of the Higher School of War, outlining the achievements since the last session of the Guidance Council and the achievements set for the 2025-2026 academic year. He also listened to contributions from council members on the agenda items. At the end of the session, Army General Said Shingriha, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense and Chief of Staff of the PNA, signed the school's guest book.
Representing the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Minister of State, Foreign Affairs, the National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, is in the Republic of Iraq to take part in the proceedings of the 34th Ordinary Session of the Council of the Arab League at the summit level, and in the 5th session of the Arab Development Summit, slated for the upcoming Saturday. The latest developments of the Palestinian cause are at the heart of the agenda of the summit. The participants will also discuss the current political situation in the Arab world, as well as means to reinforce joint Arab action. And from New York, Algeria renewed its call to all Libyans to engage in dialogue as the only option to resolve differences, to show a sense of responsibility and to prioritize the supreme interests of the Libyan people. In his address to the Security Council meeting following the briefing by the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court on Libya, Algeria's Assistant Permanent Representative to the UN, Toufiq El-Aid Qouidri, called on all Libyan brothers to engage in dialogue as the only option to resolve differences, to demonstrate a sense of responsibility and high patriotism, and to prioritize the supreme interests of the Libyan people. In a sad news, at least 5 people died and 100 others were wounded, and dozen others were rescued following flooding caused by torrential rains that have hit several regions of the country since yesterday. According to the Civil Defense Service, this report of the 24 hours operation includes motorists stranded due to flooding and residents evacuated from homes surrounded by rising waters. Heavy downpours continue today in many regions of the north and south. The National Meteorological Office issued a special bulletin for several departments across the country. The framework of the fight against terrorism and following a search and sweep operation in Wad Gharghar area in Sharshar municipality in the military sector Khanshla in the 5th military region. This evening, units of the PNA were able to eliminate a terrorist and recover a Kalashnikov submachine gun and a quantity of ammunition. This operation, which is still ongoing, reiterates the vigilance and determination of units of the People's National Army to track down these criminals across the national territory until their total elimination. As political tensions rise and economic pillars start to crumble, France finds itself at a crossroads, from neo-Nazi salutes on the streets to the silent complicity of high-ranking officials. The country is facing a multi-layered crisis, one increasingly shaped by influence and failures of the far right. Salila Balaman and Bedia Amrani.
France is experiencing a deepening crisis, so much so that neo-Nazi groups are now taken to the streets, openly performing the Nazi salute in broad daylight. Numerous political figures, particularly from the left, have strongly condemned the situation. They have also sharply criticized Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau, who has remained silent, a silence that some have described as complicit. Still no condemnation from the Interior Minister. It seems Mr. Retailleau fears headscarves more than Nazi salutes in public spaces. We need more young defenders of democracy and fewer people like Bruno Retailleau. We say down with Nazis and long live the anti-fascists. And you, Prime Minister, where do you stand? With the millions of outraged French citizens, or still backing an Interior Minister who acts as the far-right's mouthpiece and protects neo-Nazi groups in France?
Monsieur le Minister, this march should have never taken place. The police prefect should have appealed the court's decision. The police should have stepped in to stop masked men from parading through our streets.
To these already poorly handled political challenges, an economic crisis has now been added, marked by the closure of major companies. This trend highlights France's inability to safeguard its industrial base and exposes the vulnerability of its current economic development model.
Ça veut dire qu'il y a 15 000 emplois directs qui pourraient être supprimés.
This could mean 15,000 direct jobs lost. In my region, in Dunkirk in the north, 4,000 jobs are at risk. That's 4,000 families suddenly left without nothing, no way to survive or work. On top of that, 20,000 indirect jobs could be affected. Shutting down steel plants in France would be a social disaster, and they're planning it using public money.
Ils sont en train de l'organiser avec de l'argent public.
This escalation of hateful rhetoric and the collapse of key businesses in France are not mere coincidences. They are, in fact, the consequences of far-right policies that continue to fuel crises in an attempt to conceal their own failures.
Morocco's diplomatic shift continues to stir discontent without public consultation. The Makhzen regime has deepened ties with the Zionist entity, boosting economic exchanges in sensitive sectors, while ordinary Moroccans face mounting social struggles. Yasmin Masoudi and Manal Maafa.
Since the 2022 normalization deal between the Makhzen and the Zionist entity, a new dynamic has taken hold, driven by the Makhzen's interests but widely rejected by most Moroccans. This controversial political move raises serious concerns about its economic and social impact on the country. The normalization of ties between the Makhzen and the Zionist entity occurred without any public consultation, no dialogue, no public debate, and the decision was made unilaterally by the Makhzen, lacking any popular legitimacy. In just 4 years, economic exchanges between Morocco and the Zionist entity have surged from nearly non-existent to almost $700 million. In 2023, the Zionist exports to Morocco reached around $120 million, mainly in strategic sectors like pharmaceuticals, plastics, and specialized equipment. This rapid growth contrasts sharply with the struggles of many Moroccans who still lack access to basic services and decent living conditions. By embracing an unpopular alliance, the Moroccan regime weakens both its economic independence and social cohesion, revealing a leadership more driven by self-interest than by its people's demands.
In updates on the genocide in Gaza, the death toll rose to 114 martyrs on Thursday, most of which are women and children as a result of the continuous Zionist strikes across the Gaza Strip. At the headquarters of EBTV, the winners of the sports tournaments were honored. These tournaments were organized by the Operations Contribution Committee in various disciplines. Workers from various departments and directorates of EBTV participated in these tournaments, an event attended by the head of the television, Mohamed Baghali, along with the institution's executives and workers who emphasized the importance of these activities which strengthen the spirit of teamwork. And with that, we end tonight's bulletin. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekend.